Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Last American Pubcast, where everyone knows your name. I'm glad that you guys are joining us this evening. And guess what? I'm back. Gone for like 2 weeks. It feels like I've been gone forever. But joining us tonight, as always, we have Tom from America Floats.
Hello.
We have Abby from Conspiracy Pilled.
Hello.
And we have PJ, Wartime Propaganda. Welcome, guys.
Hey, well, glad to be here. Glad to have you back, Frank.
Yeah. Apparently, I was out last week, and they replaced me with somebody named Frankie. I don't know what that was about. Also Hispanic. Who schedules these things? Who really does?
Try to keep it as close as possible. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. It's good to see everybody back here this weekend. I know we are going up against a Trump rally. Me and Tom were talking a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah, don't remind them if they didn't know. Don't remind them.
They're ready to leave now. Everybody's leaving. I see the numbers dropping right now.
And at this point, he says the same thing over and over.
Yeah. It just insert Democrat from the state that they're running against. Gretchen Whitmer, terrible for the state.
Not wrong, though.
We got this mighty, mighty, beautiful Tudor Dixon. Stand up, Tudor. Stand up. Let everyone see ya.
That sounded like a really good junior. That was like a good Donald Jr.
Oh, man. But it's great to see you guys. As you guys know, we've had a interesting week this week. We had our fearless leader in the White House up there, potentially in a hand in sabotaging the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. There's a lot of video of him saying that he was going to make sure it was offline one way or another. Don't worry, he told the reporter at one point. And now we have Zelenskyy, the cross-dressing president of Ukraine, coming out and signing his application to NATO to join NATO in order to help pull us even further into a conflict that none of us really want. But somehow the lefties out there are cheering it on after they said that Trump would get us into World War III. Here we are on the doorstep with their person. Anyway, let's go ahead and sound off. What do we have on this tonight?
You know, the funniest thing about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline thing is that no matter who's telling the truth, it was a false flag attack. That's like my favorite part of this story, is that it's either that Russia sabotaged the pipeline to blame the West, which is extremely unlikely. They would give up their only bargaining chip with the West in order to, I don't know. And then the other one is that America, NATO, Ukraine sabotaged the pipeline to blame Russia. So no matter who's talking about it, everyone's calling it a false flag. Yet, if you say false flag, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, except when everybody's saying it.
Somehow, I think this whole false flag is going to show up on Conspiracy Pilled at some point.
It already happened. We covered it last week. You gotta love when a politician actually keeps their promises.
Yeah,
it is interesting to see that the pipeline, not one but two, have problems, and there's 3 different leaks, so there's multiple problems within one. And that's the bigger one, the one that they would depend on. And like you'd said, they're both turned off. So the only reason that they would be blown up is to take away leverage that Russia was holding out. So it makes no sense to say that Putin did it, but that's an interesting point, PJ, that no matter who you side with, it's a false flag that is being accused. Right. Which I guess the real conspiracy would be to think that Joe Biden didn't have anything to do with it after the clip of him saying, "Oh, we'll blow it up. No worries. I mean, there will not be a Nord Stream 2. What? There won't be one? What does that mean?
Yeah, the real conspiracy.
There won't be one. We'll end it. We'll shut it down. Like all this.
And they're like, "How, sir? How exactly will you do that?" He's like, "Oh, we'll find a way. We got the CIA right here."
Did you see Did you see the clip of the German president agreeing with him after that? Also back in February, because that was February 7th, I think. And then like a few days later, they asked the German, chancellor, president, whatever you call him. And he's like, yeah, no, we're on board with Joe Biden on this plan. Like whatever it is, we're not telling you, but yeah, we're there too. So
sorry, now if you bring that clip up, they're like, oh, you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist. He didn't really mean that.
You're a crazy conspiracy theorist. Don't you know that it's not a false flag? It was a false flag just the other way. Yeah, that's so.
They're false flagging us. That's what they're doing. It's a double false flag. It's an inverted false flag.
It's different when Democrats do it. When they actually call for violence or they call for a destruction of a pipeline, they don't really mean it. It's just a fiery speech.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this. Ocean Breathe Salty says Poland sent a tweet. Thanks, America. That was an MP, was an MEP.
Yeah.
It's a member of the Parliament of Poland, who's married to someone very, shady, I suppose, in the deep state cabal, who just says, "Oh yeah, thanks, USA." I think he said, "Thank you, USA." So it's just very interesting to see people being so obvious to call it out from the USA.
Yeah, I got our first super chat from Real Truth Cactus. Thank you, Real Truth Cactus.
Yeah.
Amen. Missed you the other night, Real Truth.
Yes, he says, "Happy payday! Oh, what a joy to give all my earned money to the Fed. At least I can buy y'all around. Cheers!" Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Cheers. Yeah.
I was gonna say the real conspiracy that I'm kind of a fan of is if it was actually China who sabotaged the pipeline, because then both countries would be absolutely certain that they didn't do it and absolutely certain it was the other side. And China could get them fighting and not have to participate, like bleed them dry fighting.
So
And
she went
just
from a
put
double
out-
like
false
that
flag to
meme.
a triple false flag. Just
Yeah.
total Alex Jones that shit.
It's like that meme with the church. That first guy in the pew, that's the pipeline. The second person with the gun in the pew is the USA. The one behind him is Russia.
Yep.
And then way up in the balcony is China with a sniper
China.
rifle.
I just don't see China sabotaging Russia that way. Like, aren't they allied right now? They're out there doing, elephant walks out in the Pacific. I think at some point you wouldn't. I mean, I like the theory because that would have everybody pointing at each other like the Spider-Man meme. But I think
Right.
if China was going to do something like that, it would just be to like lean on Russia and tell them to never reopen them. I don't think they'd blow them up. Blowing them up seems like a CIA James Bond bullshit thing to do.
Well, it does too, considering that NATO was in the area of testing sea mines at this time. So, but yeah, no, like the China thing, like it wouldn't surprise me if China sabotaged their ally just so that way they could push Ukraine or Russia further into a conflict. But yeah,
Wait, China sabotage an ally? No.
never.
Yeah, it's not like they sabotaged the world back in 2020.
Shocked Pikachu.
Including themselves.
It's not like that was the biggest sabotage in our lifetime, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
hey,
know,
if anyone has a problem on YouTube or on any other platform that you're watching, this is on Rumble, this is on Odyssey, this is on a bunch of different places. So if you can't watch it where you're watching it now, there is another way. You can be like nature and find a way.
I was going to say something before Tom said that. Now I think I lost it. What were you just talking about?
It couldn't have been that important.
We're talking about Jeff Goldblum in
Oh,
Jurassic Park because that's all I can
yes.
think of now.
Well, by the way, today or yesterday was the 1 year anniversary or 2 year anniversary of the 1 year anniversary of the FBI closing the case on the Nevada shooter after their 3-page report that they found it was inconclusive, that there was no motive, and he just
Oh, you mean the Vegas shooter? I
Yeah.
gotcha.
yeah. What did
Yeah.
I say? Las Vegas or Las
You
You
said
said
Nevada?
Nevada, which is the same. Yeah, it's,
I didn't know.
but-
I didn't know what you were. Sorry.
Vegas is the only thing in Nevada.
Well, there's Reno, the biggest little city.
Hardly know her.
I'm sorry.
You know
I thought it was commonly known as the Las Vegas shooting. Just wanted to clarify.
It's funny though because I didn't even realize the case was closed till you just said it just now, because there's never been anything that's come out of this. Like in the beginning, you found out this guy had a girlfriend in the Philippines. There was a bunch of money being exchanged between him and an area with a lot of terrorism, and then just nothing.
Well, then the reporter that was actually reporting on it or investigating was murdered by the Democrat city councilman.
Yeah,
Right.
actually, I was talking about this on a live stream a few weeks ago or months ago, and this guy had a brother who originally said there's no way it could have been him. He and his brother both knew their dad was a CIA spook and then later FBI guy, and it wasn't surprising for this guy's brother to say, "Oh yeah, he's running guns." Then the story comes out that he actually has child assault content imagery on his computer, and then all of a sudden he's charged. He goes away. This is the brother who was defending his shooter brother, and I guess it turns out they dropped the charges a year and a half after. Once it all went away, they dropped the charges, and the FBI has I guess it wasn't him, and they all go away. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird how all that happens, huh? Kind of like the Nord Stream pipeline just exploding underwater for no apparent reason.
I don't know why this made me think of it, but did you guys watch any of the Alex Jones trial stuff this week?
Yes.
Oh, No, I did not.
There's just one moment. I just bring it up. I was gonna find the clip, but it's too hard to find because it's like it's buried into like an 18-minute clip. But basically, they're asking Alex Jones like about the Sandy Hook stuff, obviously, because they sued him once for $53 million. Now there's other parents are suing him again for people who haven't been paying attention. And the whole court just gets out of hand, and the lawyer, like his lawyer, Alex Jones's lawyer, is trying to object to what Alex Jones is saying. The judge is like, "Are you objecting to your own client?" Meanwhile, the other lawyer is yelling at Alex Jones, ask him, well, "What did you say about this? What did you say about that?" And then he finally asks about the Aurora, Colorado shooting, and he's like, "Oh, that one. I said that guy. It wasn't false, but he was CIA mind control, just like Ted Kaczynski." And then the judge looks down. He's like, "I'm sorry.
He's not wrong.
Crazy.
Where's the lie?"
But it was just the most clown show I've ever seen. It was so great.
The amazing thing about the Alex Jones trial is that there's a motion in limine before the trial that told Alex he wasn't allowed to talk about politics. So Alex knows he's not allowed to bring up politics, but then the opposing lawyer keeps asking him questions that he literally can't answer honestly without saying things that he is not allowed to say. And so it's this constant like, "Are you sure you want me to answer that? Are you sure you want me to answer that?"
Well, because right before that, the lawyer did that thing, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well you Democrats kill those Iraqis. You didn't care about that."
He's like, "Yeah, you're emotional, and you just flip that on and off, don't you? You just care when you want to, don't?"
Yeah, it was pretty great.
So good.
Like this is why you got to kind of love Alex Jones, because he just doesn't turn, like he can't even stop being himself for 5 minutes just to like help himself in the court. He's just himself all the time.
So it like just turns on.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't. He's already lost. There's no way that he gets out of this without paying massive amounts of money. And so the only way that he can really turn this around is to perform at his highest levels so that he can literally make money off the trial content to pay what he has to pay and write it off as a business expense.
That's a pretty interesting theory. But yeah, I think you're right on that. Oh, man.
Yeah. How do we get from talking about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline exploding to Alex Jones courtroom drama?
You brought up the Las Vegas shooting, and it just went out of hand. It just went all over the place.
We spun out.
Stephen Paddock. That was his name. Stephen Paddock.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas dude?
Right. Oh, gotcha. Wait, Frank, I thought it was called the Nevada guy.
The Nevada shooting.
Nevada.
It was called the Nevada guy, Tom.
Anyways, so Nord Stream 2 and Nord Stream 1 got blowed up. Who done it?
Well, do you have that video of Zelenskyy signing this, and the optics of this him signing? It's just hilarious. You got?
I can find it really quick.
Oh, I thought you had it pulled up.
I like that from Ocean Breeze Salty. Alex Jones blew up the pipeline.
So true.
He needed more content.
Waffle Salter mentioned that Rekieta Law covered the Jones trial really well. I think that's the best resource I've found on Alex Jones stuff. Very few people are covering it, but Rekieta is very good.
All right, so I got that video, I think. Is it this one? Is that you're talking about?
No. Well, it's him between the two big guys, but it's the one that he's outside. It's probably like a green screen. He's signing it on a table. Did you have that one or no? I might have it.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me grab it.
I pulled it up earlier, and oh nope, I do have it.
You do have it?
He looks like a hostage.
I keep finding it, but it's like buried in like a 5-minute clip of other news.
Let me grab it.
He looks like he's the star of a really bad movie you don't want to be in.
For all the focus on optics, I mean, that guy Zelenskyy is so good at PR. It's interesting to me that he did the optics of being between two huge guys like that.
I don't think he is good at PR. Again, I think he's a hostage. I don't even think he's in charge over there.
Really?
He looks like a hostage. You see these guys holding guns all around him when he's originally making these like video conferences with people. He's not there with security. He's there like held by security. I still think he's not totally in control over there.
Maybe the optic is that he's like between two large countries.
Like, do you think that Biden is in charge? Because I think Biden's in charge as much as Volodymyr Zelenskyy is.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them is actually in charge of anything.
Well, more than a politician, he's a movie star. He's an actor. So
he's worlds better at it than Joe Biden is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have it either. So okay,
I keep finding it, but it's like a 5-minute news clip.
Yeah.
And it's buried in there
I
somewhere.
think many of the people out there probably has already seen it, where he's there between the two guys. Anyway, yeah, I just one of the optics of him doing what he does as he continues to grift, because we just passed a stopgap bill where we had another $12 billion in for Ukraine in there, and they were accusing Republicans of voting against it because they snuck hurricane relief in there, but the Republicans weren't going to vote for it because there was $12 billion going to Ukraine again. So, they're out there.
I mean, that's just the normal Democrat tactic. Like, let's push something that nobody wants, and then buried in this, like, oh, you don't care about the people in Florida.
Yeah.
How have you been doing down there in Florida, by the way?
I've been doing good myself. My audience knows that we came out okay on it. My family, on the other hand, then my mom and my dad and other family members, they were still out of power as early as before going on air tonight. So they're still waiting on power to be restored. No real damage to their properties outside of some branches and stuff like that. So we're grateful for that. Outside of that, everything else, as far as my immediate family goes, we were all good. So
that's good. That's good to hear. You said that they're basically the Democrats are politicizing this whole Florida deal with by adding the Ukraine stuff in it. I actually wanted to play this clip of DeSantis really quick, because this is just him shutting down this whole them constantly trying to politicize weather, and I just thought this was pretty great.
FEMA Administrator Chris Wells said today that she acknowledged concerns that Florida, as was said, lacks response to the storm so far, and that
whoa. Give me a break. That is nonsense. Stop politicizing, okay? Stop it. We declared a state of emergency when this thing wasn't even formed. We've had people in here. You've had counties they've done a lot of hard work. And honestly, you're trying to attack me, I get, but you're attacking these other people who've worked very hard. And so that's just totally false. I don't think we've ever, certainly since I've been governor, declared a state of emergency this early. We made sure that we were very inclusive with it. We said that there was a lot of uncertainty, and then we've worked to make sure the preparations that have been done and all the stuff, you talk to the people at the counties when they've needed something, stuff gets there very quickly because of what Kevin and his team have done.
Yeah, let me speak to that real quick, if you would. Being in Florida and being a Florida resident my whole life, our state does a very good job of being prepared for storms, especially at the state level, even local levels. They're a city about 45 miles north of where I live is the station area where they bring in all of the electric trucks and everything like that. It's a station area where they plan them because they're the I-10 is right there, and I-75 is right there, so it's easy for them to get on to either I-75 to I-10. The I-10 takes you to I-95 on the other side of the state, so it's a real easy planning station. The grocery stores down here, people like Publix, Walmart, and some of these other ones are always very prepared for all this stuff. And people in Florida, for the most part, understand what's going on. And a lot of times you can't make your decision until the day before, because you don't know where that storm's going to truly hit. Because at the start of the week, a lot of people were calling me up and say, "Hey, Frank, you guys leaving?" I was like, "Why?" Well, the storm's path is directly on you. I was like, "Yeah, it's probably going to shift." And sure enough, it did shift. It shifted, 3 different times between Monday and Wednesday before landfall. And that's something, again, they're out there trying to politicize this stuff when this state actually does a really good job of being prepared and getting ready before a storm even hits. I've been in Florida my entire life. I've been through numerous hurricanes. I've been in hurricanes. I've been part of hurricane relief. So that question obviously was just politically loaded in order to attack DeSantis for no apparent reason outside of to score political points for the current regime. And it's not needed.
Yeah, I mean, they do this with everything. They've been doing it with the climate change thing. I don't know if you saw Don Lemon this week, but Don Lemon's out there lecturing scientists. He's like, yeah, but what about if we took climate change more seriously? And the guy's like, that's not going to change this one hurricane. It's like,
yeah, yeah, and those other legislators out there, after they passed the green bill, that's what it was. It wasn't the Inflationary Act, as they called it. It's right. All the green stuff. Oh, because we passed that bill, we're going to have less hurricanes. We had the same amount of hurricanes last year than we did back in 1920, 1922. It's the same amount. It's It's a bunch of hoo-ha.
It's weather.
But doesn't that's the hubris of people that think that it's like the Tower of Babel all over again. It's like people
we need
think they
a
control
drink
weather.
right now.
Thank you, Ripcord.
It's what it is like ancient Greek mythology. If you sacrifice to this god, there won't be storms and your crops will grow great.
Yeah. You know, you keep sacrificing those babies so it rains, and then you know you got into the a magic number of how many babies you need to throw in the pit of fire.
This is why I hate chronological chauvinism. Basically, the idea that we're so much better and smarter than the people who came before us, because we're doing the same thing. We've just found new language for it. It's like we're still sacrificing to the rain gods. We're still, doing all of this stuff to try to appease the rain gods, but we do it in a way that sounds scientific, so it's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
does
people
the sun-
abort their
does
people
the
abort
sun
their
know we
babies and
taxed it
sacrifice.
yet? Has anybody sent a tax bill to the sun? I know AOC was thinking about going at night because it's less hot at night.
What were you saying, Tom?
No, I was just saying that we actually we literally sacrifice babies for the making it rain on abortionists. Right? They're all talking about which Ferraris or Mustangs they're going to buy with
Very
the
true.
sacrificed babies that we have now. So we're not too far off.
Not too far off at all. No, you're right. You're
I
right,
mean, they
man.
literally do talk about killing your children because of the climate change stuff. So it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just churched up language.
Yep.
Man, I wish I was out there with my with a flag. That would have been epic. I would have recorded it for you guys and posted it on the channel. I really would have. This is from the guy that went down to find a restaurant that was selling the F Joe Biden pizzas, and I actually went and found a restaurant and we ordered a couple of those pizzas.
I didn't even know it was a thing. Thank you, Awful Salter, by the way.
Yeah, thank
I
you
actually
so
have
much.
some of those videos of Florida men. This whole article is great. Just like all the Florida stuff going on this week, the flag waving and I think this one right here. There's one of a F Joe Biden flag somewhere, but what's this one?
Surfing.
This just looks like fun.
That's amazing.
Wakeboarding down the street.
Wakeboarding behind a truck.
That's how we do it in Florida, baby.
Was
Yeah, but
that
if you
you and
wipe
your
out-
son this week, Frank?
Oh.
Oh, he's on skis. Oh no, he's not.
I think it's a wakeboard or a
Yeah, I think you're
surfboard. I can't tell.
If you
And
wipe
then-
out, you're in like 6 inches of water.
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
doing?
Well, it'd still be softer than concrete. But yeah. I don't know when this became a trend, but I kind of love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's great, yeah. Oh man. But yeah, it's been one of those weeks with the hurricane, and I was talking to somebody. Maybe I wasn't talking to somebody. Maybe I was just talking to the camera in one of my videos. Who knows? As much as we talk. But this whole Nord Stream pipeline that was sabotaged came at the perfect time with the hurricane right around the corner. It took that right off the front page pretty quickly here in the U.S. at least.
Yeah, are we just going to ignore the fact that Frank's like, was I talking to a person or just talking to myself in my office? I can't tell the difference anymore.
Can't remember.
It's like the camera's like my best friend, essentially, at this point. We talk all the time.
All the
Great
time.
relationship.
Hours at a time we talk.
Every day, yeah.
The news cycle is insane, though. Something absolutely insane can happen, and you think, this is so bad. I will never forget this. I will never forget that they did this to us. I will never forget that, blah, blah, blah. And then like 5 more completely or more insane things will happen, and you will completely forget about it. We were talking about the Las Vegas shooter, and I forgot that even happened because it was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
We forget to pay attention once things are past the main window of attention.
And it's really hard not to forget, because of how much stuff is thrown at us every single day, every week, every month. It's just like just a year ago, they were force masking kids in school and making them play instruments through holes inside their mask and be ridiculous.
Now they got.
Did you
now
see
they
that
have
video?
Lizzo playing a crystal flute.
Yeah.
No mask.
No mask. No mask at all. But we shouldn't forget some of these things when Logitech knows you better than your own priest. How'd you know what camera I had? That's absolutely bizarre.
That's the camera everyone has.
I was gonna say, I think it's a safe bet. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody else even makes a webcam that's worth.
It was
Talking
hard to
about?
joke. It was
Yeah.
hard to joke, Tom.
Awkward. I have a Mexico.
Probably
That
made in
explains a lot.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh man.
couldn't even get the name brand. Had to get the
No.
off-brand Mexico.
Mexico. That's when your mom says, when you tell your mom you want Logitech at home, and she's like, "We have Logitech at home."
You know what's funny though, Frank? You're saying like the news cycle's so crazy. I feel like it's like we literally just saw something earlier this week that could potentially start World War III, and everybody's already moved on to talking about other stuff. And I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing in some cases, because like in some cases I feel like maybe because the news cycle's so crazy, everybody's just like, all right, well, let's not go to war over something that was 5 minutes ago. But on the other hand, like last week, we had Matt Walsh out there like exposing this child transition surgery stuff, and people are just going to forget talking about that too. So like change, like I worry that with the news cycle being so crazy that legitimate change isn't going to happen, and that it could potentially, I guess, be good if we're talking about like nobody's mad at Russia or Ukraine or whatever anymore because we forgot about it 5 minutes ago. But also, we've already moved on past them, chopping kids up and stuff like that. We've got other stuff to talk about.
Well,
You guys sound like
forgot.
you guys sound like frogs in a pot. You guys sound like you're boiling. You're like, oh my god, it's so hot. Everything around us is crazy. There's bubble after bubble, and there's nowhere to look. That's what it sounds like.
Right.
Like they've got us to that point where everything is insane, so you don't react to anything, and they can get away with every insane thing they want.
That's the point I was making. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Putin hasn't forgot. He even called out our child butchering ways here in the U.S.
But hear me out. So something like Pearl Harbor happens, and it's the only thing anybody's thinking of, and they really fixate on it for a long period of time, and you can build a war effort off of that. Now, people died at Pearl Harbor. Did people die in the Nord Stream?
They were allowed. They were allowed to die at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
They were sacrificed at Pearl Harbor.
But when I'm saying,
Abby, all of the people that are underwater on the Nord Stream died.
Okay, so a bunch of
R.I.P.
He's
George.
making fun of you. Let me mansplain the joke to you real quick.
I thought I heard that like one person had died somehow, but
Probably
Nemo.
the guy that set the charges. Yeah.
There we go.
Suicide mission.
What I'm trying to say is it's much harder to build a war effort off of something that people have already forgotten about. So this
Very
might
true.
be a good thing.
But that's the point I was making, is it could be good in one aspect, maybe, but the other aspect is that we continue to accept further and further insanity in our world. It's like, well, 5 minutes ago we were talking about, maybe we'll put kids on puberty blockers. Now we're all the way up to like, hey, let's normalize just pictures of teenage girls with their breasts chopped off. But we've already moved on past this, and we're never going to actually do anything about it.
Yeah, we went from the media denying the existence of that actually going on to them fully embracing it within a week.
And so where do we draw the line? Like, would you stop a hospital from doing the surgery? Probably not. But would you stop it if you found out that the foster care system was trafficking children in some way? Would you then say, okay, we need to get the community together and go and stop all of the foster, systems in our area? Would you? I mean, I guess I'm trying to ask, like, where do you draw the line for the kids in the mutilation? Because you can see the hospitals are doing it, and you will find out that these same groups, maybe not a hospital, but another organization that tells you they're there for the kids, are really trafficking the kids. And again, we're going to have no reaction. We're going to say, oh, wow, shame on them, told you so. So anyways, and that's, I mean, that's not a healthy reaction to have for that.
Right. Well, Rob on North Arrow just said it perfectly. He said we can't build a war effort on things that we need to because of this.
Correct.
And I would say this to what you're saying, Tom, is like there is no line for most people because, it was only a few years ago that we absolutely knew for a certainty that children were being trafficked over to Epstein Island, and now child trafficking is a conspiracy again. Like that's the news cycle. Like that's the cognitive dissonance of, hey, this thing exists, but we've got a new news story, so that thing's a conspiracy again.
I find this funny, not in the ha-ha, as I normally say, but funny like it's absolutely insane, is that just 10 years ago, you had even liberals were outraged at Muslims mutilating girls' genitals here in the country. It was a big story. I remember people talking about it. And now it's like, hey, I'm a doctor. Here's a card. Call me if your kid thinks it starts playing with boys' toys. We'll make sure we chop it all up.
I got suspended on TikTok for making that exact joke, Frank. Yeah. Yes, female genital mutilation was a big deal in the Middle East. But, if we do it here and it's a doctor does it, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
This was shared on the Odyssey. I figured it was relevant.
It was relevant. Thank you for sharing, Tom.
Yeah.
I do think that something new happens with the trans issue enough that it is consistently staying in front of us, and actually things are actually being done about it in a way that we are like, no one's going to care about Lizzo playing the flute next week, but people will still care about the trans issue.
And I absolutely agree with that statement. With the a lot of people within the Republican Party and the people that with influence, I suppose, people like Frank Luntz, will tell Republican candidates that's not an issue to focus on. You need to focus on cutting taxes and less regulation and not on those issues, when actually those are the issues that are impacting a lot of communities within school systems. We talked a little bit about it before we came on air. The volleyball team and one of the northern states, I can't remember, I want to say it's Maine. I had the story, I haven't pulled it up, but where they were kicked out of their own locker room because a transgender had come in and he had said something to them that was graphic, and they complained about it, and they got kicked out of their locker room. Not the transgender. Right. So, it is a relevant thing that I think politicians should be talking about and really be sincere about it. There's a way to tackle these issues with sincerity and with maturity in a way that you reach the voters, because what we are currently doing is on the level of abortion.
Well, what you're talking about too, these cultural issues, that's what Ralph Northam won on. If people, and again, people have a short memory, so they might have forgotten, but there was a trans
Glenn Youngkin.
Oh, did I say Ralph Northam? I meant Glenn Youngkin. Sorry, had it backwards. That's what Glenn Youngkin won on, because in they had this whole story where this kid was going into the locker rooms and he raped a girl, and because he was a transgender, the principal's like, we're not going to talk about this. They actually arrested the dad for trying to make us think about it. And people were like, this is terrible. This is the kind of things that's going on in our schools, and our schools are behind covering it up. Our schools are telling the girls, well, it's a transgender female or whatever, so you can't say anything to the protected class. And that's actually what won that state. And now we're, back to the lower taxes, and let's not talk about the cultural issues stuff.
Yeah, here's another one here. This was from Outkick. This isn't the exact one I was talking about. It was one I had pulled up. Female track athlete suing Connecticut over his transgender policy. Women's sports are increasingly under attack from political activists. Their commitment to forcing biological males into women's sports has already caused substantial frustration, conflict, and disagreement. Out of cowardice, fear, and delusional ideology, many states and other jurisdictions have begun enforcing rules and policies that allow biological males to compete against females. Thankfully, some young athletes aren't taking this line down. So according to Fox News, Celine Sulu, a Connecticut track and field athlete, is suing the state over the transgender policy that forced her to compete against biological males her entire high school career. So we need more of this, and we need more voices coming out of these sports from the ladies as well, saying, hey, we can't continue to do this.
Right. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something, Abby.
No, we talked a little bit earlier about, why aren't Republicans picking this up? Why aren't, and Cactus brought this up in chat. Republicans don't know how to handle winning. And I do wonder if just being the opposition party has been our identity for so long. I'm not sure if anybody in office really knows how to grab something and run with it across the finish line. They're like, oh no, I thought we were just going to talk about overthrowing abortion forever, and that was never going to happen.
Yeah, no, you're right. The last Congress that came in with a vision, a solid plan for leading, was Newt Gingrich back in 1994. Yep. Where they had the contract with America was beautifully laid out. What they were going to work on for the American people within the first 100 days of this contract they were making with them. If you send us to Washington, this is what we're going to make sure to do. And they did it. They did it. Under Newt Gingrich's leadership, they were able to do that. Unfortunately, we don't have a leadership structure right now that wants to lead. They want to, as Abby was saying, just continue to stay in this opposition where we need to fund the border wall, but we don't want to really fund the border wall, right? Or we don't want to really end abortion because that's the only thing we can fundraise off. That's the only thing we can get our voters excited about from election cycle to election cycle.
Yeah,
Well,
these are
even with
budgeting issues, right? They want to budget off of them. They don't want to fix them. They want to budget off of them. To Frank's point, they want to look at the border and say, we want to fund the budget for the wall. We're not going to fix the border, but we're going to fund it, and then we're going to siphon off of it. And that's what they're doing for everything. They're mad that anyone would get in and point that out and then try to fix it for real, like people have since 2016.
Well, even with Newt Gingrich, you're talking about him, they were still kind of the opposition party. I mean, Clinton was president at the time. So I'm not sure if we have all three houses, if we actually know how to win, because we did have that in 2016 and we couldn't get much done then either.
We had Paul Ryan in there. I mean, you had Mitt Romney. You were depending on people that now for sure are not on your team. And you thought then, well, they have to vote to repeal Obamacare. Like, they were laughing in your face behind closed doors.
They were.
Yeah.
They were all doing, everybody in the Senate knew John McCain was going to come out and do his thumbs down before the vote had even taken place. It was a well-known secret.
Yeah, it's like, they fooled us once, shame on us, but they're not going to fool us again. I hope.
And yet, who do we have running in Pennsylvania?
John Fetterman.
I mean, is Dr. Oz really a conservative?
Well, he's not. Like, we all know that he's not a conservative. It just depends on whether or not he's going to go
vote
the party
first
line.
Yeah. And to Tom's point, I did actually have this story pulled up earlier this week, and I lost it already in all my tabs I closed out earlier this week. But that race is actually shaping up to lean more toward Oz now. And I would like to, eat a little bit of crow to Tom, where early on, where me and PJ had early in this show, I think first or second episode, where we talked about Tom with this, and Tom was like, but that's not the point. This is the point, what they're trying to do with Dr. Oz. And I'm like, that's silly. He's not going to be able to garner the support. And right now, with polling, it looks like he is getting that support now that I didn't think he was going to be able to. So I'm eating a little bit of crow tonight, Tom. I'm going to say you were right thus far on the issue.
I do want to say, I mean, good for you, Frank, for saying Tom's right, because he's so rarely right. He needs to hear that from us. But just kidding, Tom. We love you.
I love that Abby's responding for me. Go ahead, Abby.
No, go ahead, Tom. Please.
You were saying something.
Yeah, finish your point.
We keep wondering, how do we get this Mitt Romney? How did we get these people who aren't on our side? We get them by saying in the primaries, well, this person is perfectly on our side, but they're not electable, so we're not going to elect them. Whereas the left just says, who is the most excitingly left excitement person that we could possibly put up, and they put them up and they win.
That's not true. They ran a bunch of those dummies and they all lost to Joe Biden. They had like 19 of them or 23 of them. They all fell one by one, down after the other, kneeling like they were falling to BLM. And Joe frickin' Biden was the dominator out of Pete Buttigieg and a bunch of other, no names, Kamala Harris and a bunch of other people. It's just, you had a bunch of other people who were way more exciting than Joe, and they all didn't pick them. They all went with Joe.
Were they more exciting?
100%.
Yeah,
look at the
were
polling
alive.
numbers.
Anybody's more exciting than anyone. Literally anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying, Abby, but I mean that was the one example
right,
I could immediately think of to be like, well, they've strayed from that path.
I mean, we got to look at who is Oz running against? Who did the Democrats nominate there? John Fetterman.
But that's what's so okay. So here's what's so weird to me.
That dude can't get through a sentence.
That's what's so weird to me, though, is that of all of the people running right now, you hear John Fetterman the most, and I wonder why that is, because he's the least if it was just. I don't know how to put this. He's the least exciting. He's the guy you would want to just hope that people would just vote D and not pay attention to who he is. But everybody on the left is pushing him and being like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's going to be great. He's going to be exciting. Like, I've seen so many tweets this week. Oh, we can't wait to have someone like John Fetterman. He's so great. It's like, he's the most embarrassing politician you could possibly have. So I do wonder, I'm like, is it just because Oz, because the Republicans aren't excited about Oz that he's this close? Because it almost feels like you could put anybody up against literal corpse or a literal brain dead person and win. I don't know. It's weird to me that they would push him out there so much instead of just hoping like Pennsylvania's kind of blue, so we're just going to win this anyway.
I think
Are
the
they just
polling's a
rubbing it in our
lie.
faces?
You think the polling's a lie, you said?
Yeah, I think the polling's not. I mean, if you believe the elections are rigged, then you have to think the polling going into the elections are only there to, make you believe the story on the way out. Like it's the dressing before the big theater show of the election day. Because if you knew your entire neighborhood and everyone, 90% of people were voting one way, and then on election day it went the other way, you'd say, hold the phone. There's some questions to be answered here. If instead they tell you the polling's real neck and neck the whole way through, it's 50-50, now you feel like, well, I shouldn't tell my neighbors because half of them probably don't agree. And then you go into election day not knowing. And now you come out guessing. And then they can decide. That's how I think they always do the same polling. If Trump is going to win Wisconsin by 8 points, they're going to tell you it's tied. Okay. And they did. Yeah. Twice over.
I like this comment here. Elaine says, "Are the Dems voting for Fetterman or the little brother on his neck?" I feel like the little politician growing out of his neck is probably more popular than John Fetterman at this point.
He's probably more versed as well. He can probably carry on a conversation much better than Fetterman himself.
Probably
it's
would do
honestly
better
gross.
Debate,
I've never heard of a person's brain falling out of their skull from a stroke before, but it's weird to see it on the back of his neck.
Yeah, just like dropped all the way down into his neck.
It just went like. That's the sound it made.
The other thing that happens with polling is that people are sometimes afraid to say the actual person that they want to vote for. Like when they get on the phone with somebody, they say the thing that they think the person wants to hear. And with conservatives being so deplorable in this culture, I think a lot of people are doing that. And I do think that that's why we saw the drop after Dobbs, not because people actually changed their minds, but because they were more afraid to say that they were going to vote R after Dobbs.
You think people are more afraid after a political win?
I just don't think they're getting asked. Like I've never been asked in a poll once, anything.
No,
and as soon as you say that you're Republican, they're like, "Have a nice day."
They'll even continue to poll. They're like, okay.
Or like those ones where you click through, and as soon as you click like mostly conservative, they're like, "Thank you for answering the survey. This is all complete." And you're like, "I thought it was going to take 10 minutes."
Wait a second. To PJ's question, yes, I do, because I think that, like Cactus said earlier, we don't know how to win. We weren't expecting it to happen. And when it did, I think it took us all aback. Like, oh my word, we just did that. I don't know if I can cop to that.
Yeah, I think you have a point there. It's just so weird to me. Like there's just this loser mentality in the Republican Party of like, hey, we're winning culturally on this issue and this issue and this issue. And you know what? People really don't like them, transing the kids. They really don't like them putting pornography in schools. They really don't like killing 65 million babies. But there's some really loud people on the television. So I'm going to be quiet. And that's why we lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of Fetterman, here's Fetterman in a recent interview with Hayes.
You'd think someone would tell him to fix his chin. What is he hiding with that? Like what's on his chin that's so bad that he's hiding it with that thing that he grew?
I don't know. It can't be any worse than what's on his neck.
Well, yeah, because we found out what the hoodie was hiding. So now I want to know what the facial hair is hiding.
All right, let me hit play here.
Governor, it's great to have you. I have not gotten an opportunity to speak to you on air since your stroke and since your primary victory. At first, I just wanted to check in and see how you're feeling and how you're doing.
I'm doing fantastic, and it's not about kicking balls in the authority or anything. But I always like to say that if Dr. Oz says something and I can sell it on T-shirts and raise money for our campaign, then it's a good day for us.
Governor, it's great to have you. I have not.
I'm not going to kick the balls and do what?
Wait, so yeah, play
he said I'm
again.
not going to kick balls to the authority.
And since your primary victory, at first I just wanted to check in and see how you're feeling and how you're doing.
I'm doing fantastic, and it's not about kicking balls in the authority or anything.
It's not about
kicking balls in the authorty or anything.
It's not about kicking balls in the authority.
Who asked him about kicking the authorities' balls?
What a broken brain comment.
I don't understand how this guy's a serious candidate.
He's not. It's
We're
not
being
about
punked.
kicking balls in the authority.
Being punked.
But that being said, if Dr. Oz says something that I can put on a T-shirt and sell to fund my campaign, I will. Oh my God.
Frank said we're being punked. I mean, sometimes do you think they literally are doing that like on purpose? Like, hey, can we get the most ridiculous thing out there in front of you just to see how far along you'll go with it?
It's humiliation
it
ritual.
Feels like
That's what that is.
Yeah. It feels like a joke. It feels like the same thing as the whole 76,000 genders thing is like, let's see how far we can push people to believe this stuff.
It's the Biden gas. They're just rubbing it in our face at this point. They can, and so they do.
John Fetterman is like Peter Griffin on the One Family Guy episode with a lump on his neck.
Oh, it's GOP Josh. Hey, Josh.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Find that now.
Josh is one of the youngest podcasters
really
out there who's like super successful. Yeah, and
that's really
on our
cool.
side. Yeah, he's really cool.
Well, welcome. Thanks for coming by.
Welcome, GOP
Welcome.
Josh.
Yeah, what was it? Family Guy? Peter Griffin.
Yeah. So I just want to remind people really quick, if you haven't hit like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. We're going to be here for till 9 o'clock. So if you can, share this on Gab, Getter, Twitter, wherever you guys are at. Let people know to come over here. Truth Social, all of that good stuff. I think I'm clicking on the wrong ones. Meant to click on something else, but
also, but also, 10 minutes before the show ends, so 8:50 or so, we'll have last call, and then we'll ring the bell and begin going through any super chats that were sent in. So while we see them, and we may toast to them while we're going through, we will officially go into a roundup through all of them at 10:02.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. So, well, sorry, you had something, Frank. I was going to pull up something.
I did.
Yep. Oh, great. He has it.
Mr. Hartman, Peter has a huge lump growing on his neck.
Mrs. Griffin, that's called a head. I've been fooled by that one before.
Look at it. I think it might be a tumor.
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, yes. It appears that there is a great rack, by the way. Thank you. Well, thank Grandma Griffin, really. It appears you have a subcutaneous vestigial twin growing on...
What is that?
Never developed to a fully formed person, but still exists as a growth feeding off your body. Now, hold still. I'm just going to give you a little topical anesthetic, and we'll have a closer look.
Is that the October surprise for John Fetterman?
So someone needs to create the Fetterman meme where it's him and then a mini head of him coming out of that thing.
Cactus, do you hear that? We need it.
We need a cactus.
There are pictures of Fetterman with his neck showing, and you just need him and then his head again, smaller.
We just had a super chat here. Thank you, Waffle Salter.
Thank you, Waffle Salter.
In that case, the Lego space shuttle behind you, Tom. Dang, always drinks. Anyway, drinks.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Waffle Salter. So, Frank, I had a question I wanted to ask you. Where do you think that the Democrat Party is going to send you next? Because Nancy Pelosi's got plans. I don't know if you heard about this, but she's got an idea of what you and your people need to be doing.
She
right
looks
now.
so hammered in that still shot.
Oh yeah. This is her 9 a.m. Just finished her tequila breakfast face.
We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, "Why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here."
So hold on a second.
We have a
Does she does realize that's a federal crime to hire illegals?
Yes. Well, it's not if you're a Democrat. It's also not a federal crime to fly them all over the country if you're a Democrat. Just if you're a Republican. So.
Yeah. I hear an echo. Is that on your time side, PJ? There it goes. It's gone.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
it's probably me.
This is how the Democrat Party and elites overall view, Hispanics. Either you're going to work in the service industry, you're going to work at the cook, the busboy in the back, or you're going to be inside the hotels as a maid, or you're out in the farms picking vegetables and crops. As you said, there's a labor shortage. Hell, there is a labor shortage. There's a lot of Americans not working that should be working, right? But they are desensitized to stay at home and get government checks to stay at home and not to work to be participating in this, so we can justify this. The illegals that come into this country say, "Hey, see, we need them. Nobody's working. We need these people to come into work." No, we don't. We got plenty workforce here in the United States. And but again, it is very insulting how they view Hispanics in this country. By the way, they truly are. You know, we're breakfast tacos. We're
San Antonio tacos.
Yes, San Antonio tacos. We're the busboy. We're and that's all. You know, it just. But nobody calls her out on. Nobody there in the press room will say, "Hey, that sounds a little racist." You know,
it's like the daughter of the Osborne family that said, when referring
who's going
to
to clean
Donald
your
Trump,
toilets?
yeah, who's going to clean your toilets if the Mexicans are gone, Donald Trump?
Right.
And then they were like, "Ooh, that's not what we meant." But here again, they're doing it again. And Nancy Pelosi, the House drinker, I liked that comment. That was funny, Shannon. The House drinker, Nancy Pelosi, probably would think I'm a Mexican. Because today I was out picking my own fruits and vegetables in the actual farm down the street on the trees. I told you guys we went apple picking and did a little more. So she would have thought that we picking our own fruit would certainly then be Hispanic because there's no other way you do that.
So what I'm hearing is Frank giving a lot of excuses for why he's here and not out picking oranges right now. And I'm hearing Tom say that they need to actually ship Frank up to Michigan so he can pick your fruit.
Yeah, we're a Democrat state. We need to put him to work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if we don't let illegals across the border, who's going to do all the Mexican people jobs?
Yeah, who's going to do the long work?
That's really what she's saying.
Right?
That's actually exactly what she's saying. She's like, if you don't keep the illegals here where we're shipping them, then you don't have people to do these, unskilled manual labor jobs that we don't pay well for.
Nancy Pelosi's so old, she was probably around for the slave trade. So she's just thinking back in those terms. This is where we need to ship these people. This is where the work needs to be done. I mean, who talks about human beings like this is where they're needed. This is where we need to ship those workers. DM'd Abby the meme. Okay, we got to see this meme.
You have the meme, Abby?
Wait.
Did you mute her, Tom?
No, I didn't. There are definitely farms all over Michigan, in particular West Michigan.
What are you talking about? It's all farmland up here.
I live in a farm. All around me is different farms. I'm the one who's not
farms in the north.
Was it Martha Vineyard like a farm? That vineyard that you would think there would be farm stuff.
Surprise!
There's our October surprise.
So good, you guys.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Cactus.
Is Little Fetterman going to be debating Oz, or is it going to be Big Fetterman doing the debate?
Well, between the two of them, they might have a full, cognitive sentence to put out.
Yeah, they might actually have a brain cell between the two of them. Did you notice anything else about that picture? I mean, I've never seen someone look more like a convict in a photo. Like, even in a headshot, no one looks more like a convict than that. Can you pull that up again?
I thought there was no one that looked more like an actual Shrek man than him.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like if Shrek was turned into a live action.
Boomer Abby's at it again.
I think he's handing that person a shank right there secretively. If you look at it,
what do you imagine? So you zoom in on that arm there where he's got that blacked out. He used to have something there that now he has blacked out. So what the heck did he have there that was so bad that he blacked it out with a huge bar so that no one would ever see it?
Kill all N-words, because he did pull a shotgun on one of them in his neighborhood.
So you go to that. You go to that. And you're referring to a black person as an N-word.
You want to know the worst
tattoo
cover up I've ever seen? When I joined the National Guard, there was another guy that joined at the same time, and he had love and hate tattooed on his knuckles. And they obviously not gonna let you in with love and hate tattooed on your knuckles. So it was like normal, like just print, and then he had the hate like changed to hope in this big flowery letter. and then he quit. He like dropped out day one of basic training. So the rest of his life, he's got love in like this prison tat looking thing, and then hope in these big flowery letters on his arm.
It's like Charlie Pace from Lost with writing all those words on his knuckles.
It was great.
Crazy.
Never watched that show, by the way.
Oh, you missed out.
Which show?
Lost.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, I never watched it either. You know what show people are watching right now though? They're watching the Dahmer show.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna find it on Netflix under the LGBTQ tag anymore because they removed it following backlash. This is my favorite story. Is like they have the Dahmer thing on there, and they like Netflix has to have this like super inclusive LGBTQ stories, and they put Dahmer in there, which is, I mean, it's accurate, but people are mad about this.
They're mad that they were being referred to as a mentally unstable serial killer.
Well, was it that, or do you think the Dahmer estate was just mad that he was being linked in with the alphabet crowd?
That's what I was saying. I think that they don't want to be the Dahmer family doesn't want their child who they cremated and still kept the ashes of, to be associated with the groomers of children. Again, Jeffrey Dahmer only ate and molested and raped and attacked and killed adult gay men, not children. He wouldn't go there. He's not an LGBTQ pluser.
I mean, they just don't want his name dragged through the mud, I think.
They had to remove the label because the Dahmers were like, listen, our child raped and ate and killed a bunch of people, but not kids. So you take that off. And Netflix was like, okay, shoot, we don't want to get sued. Defamation for the Dahmer family.
They kept the Gacy one under the LGBTQ.
Yeah, because he was like, thank you.
Oh my God.
Because Gacy liked kids. That's the difference. He had a bunch of kids in his crawl space. Yeah.
Wasn't groomer a banned word on Twitter?
I've gotten away with it so far, but I heard it's banned. I don't know.
It's funny because Eric Swalwell used it recently to. You guys heard about one of the people that worked for Trump turned out to be a bad dude that was going after little kids, and he's like, bye-bye groomer or something. And I was like, dude, you get banned off Twitter for using groomer. You're not allowed to use that word.
My friend No Soup for Knowles got taken down for, I think it was 12 hours for using groomer.
I like that account.
Yeah, she's back, but she got taken down for a little bit for just using the word in a super tame way.
Like, I have to take my dog to the groomers, but I'm afraid that they're going to be turned gay.
Yeah.
That's a great tweet right there.
That's a banger, Tom.
I might
Tom's
take it.
last tweet on Twitter.
That's why they don't let me on that platform anymore. 7 accounts up and down.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we got a little bit of entertainment news to talk about tonight. We were talking about backstage before we were coming on. One of the story was about the Dahmer. Painful. What was the other story we were talking about? We were talking
Wait a
about.
second.
Yeah, so I got another.
Hold
what
on.
were you
Abby
saying?
has
Hold
something.
on.
Go ahead.
I have the Fetterman tattoo.
Oh,
I
that-
will
is
make
it.
you hurt. I will make you
Ah.
hurt. That's the guy you want as your
Is that
governor.
like the lyric from the
Johnny
9 Inch
Cash?
Nails
Senator?
song? Well, the Johnny Cash was a
Oh, I
remake
know,
of
but I
9 Inch
prefer
Nails.
that version of it.
That is a much better version. Yeah. I will make you hurt.
What is that supposed to
He's
be?
not wrong. I mean, if he gets
Why did he
gets
cover that
elected-
up? Like, that's not something you cover. I mean, what? You just be like, yeah, it's lyrics. There's a lot of girls that have stupid lyrics above their, I don't know, name apart. And I don't think they're going to make any big, blockouts of them if they run
there's
for
a lot
office.
of there's a lot of dumb girls back in the 90s and the early 2000s that had the little butterfly on the back of their things. You'll see them blocking it out.
Frank, I think
They
there
got
still
the-
are.
Chinese word for furniture on their arm,
Or the barbed wire for guys around the.
Oh gosh.
And the tribal tattoos.
Tribal tattoos and barbed wire.
You have it, PJ. I bet you have a barbed wire, don't you?
I do not. No.
Abby,
I
what
do
does
not
your
have tribal
tattoo say?
I just have a semicolon.
Okay. And that's it?
That's it.
What
for
do you
now.
got, Tom?
Oh, I wasn't answering. I was just asking.
Well, we're
Tom has
asking
a
now.
tramp stamp.
No.
Tom has a butterfly tramp
Do you
stamp.
have a monarch
Yeah,
butterfly
yeah,
tramp
barbed wire
stamp?
back there.
No, I have I went to Michigan State, so I have a Spartan head tattoo, but I won't say where. But it's not a Fetterman one, and I wouldn't have to block it out if I ran for office. So I just think it's odd that he would block it out on his arm. Like, why wouldn't you just say, yeah, I have lyrics tattooed and I liked 9 Inch Nails? People would think that would be cool. They'd be like, oh, he was kind of cool when he was younger, at least. Instead,
I think-
he's just a dork.
I think it's crazy that he's like, I am so likable except for this tattoo. So I'm just going to fix this and everything else about me is great.
The talking head. Don't pay attention to that.
I mean, is there anything he could do to make himself less electable? Like
No.
the tattoo wouldn't have done it.
Well, didn't
I
he
mean,
have
there's a lot of things he could do, but I don't want to start.
Did he have some murderers on his campaign team? Actual legit murderers? I think so. It was either that or his. I think I gotta look it up now. Hold on.
He could drop dead and he'd still give Dr. Oz a run for his money.
I don't know. I'd say, like, let's test it. Come on, God. Give us a little experiment here. That's terrible.
Yeah.
They'd find a replacement. Don't do it yet.
So
Salty says he has a butterfly. I just think that's great. Sorry.
Wait, what? What did I miss?
Look, I think the tattoos that people get and still like are great. And if you don't like it and you regret it, then I'm with you. You shouldn't have gotten that.
Fetterman did dump BLM from his campaign ads, by the way.
That's weird because usually leftist politicians dump BLM right after the election. That's been the trend for the last 10 years or 8 years. It's been, we're all with BLM, and then the moment we get elected, it's like, see you in 2 years. See you in 2 years or 4 years or whatever.
Thanks for the fundraising.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like within a month of Joe Biden taking office, there was a story, Joe Biden still refusing to take BLM's phone calls. It's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, there was that article like, there's an elephant in the room. We can't talk about the missing black representation in this administration. And they kept talking about how all the black people that he had were quitting, and they were not replacing any black people in the administration. They were all freaking out about Kamala's team. Black people, they were all leaving. It was all very interesting. They had no black representation in the all White House. That was the article.
Well, yeah, I mean, with that team, though, they had to go for the more marginalized community of the super gay TikToker community.
Oh,
So
the nails.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh. So
I don't know how anyone lives with nails like that. They're so expensive to maintain. And how do you even?
Yeah.
I think you're missing the point there, Abby, but go ahead. Yes. Tell us about how, it's not the fact.
It's fine.
It's not
a guy dressed like Cruella DeVille. That's not the point. Like Salt, time to take a drink. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Yeah. And while you guys are drinking, I am showing you, I'm not crazy. Look at this. Black staffers exit Biden White House as administration ignores black issues. This was June of this year.
No, I knew the story. I was just saying, I think they're replacing them with the more marginalized community. They're doing the satanic gay guys. They go with the satanic leather straps, and they've got the child molester.
They're bringing in guys who would be
Matt
a part
Damon.
of like a Clockwork Orange cast. Like they're bringing in the guys who would like abuse a puppy in an alley. Like they're no longer going for the loud protester.
One of them for the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
One of them did abuse a puppy, though. Right. I mean, sort of. If you believe in the LGBT stuff, his boyfriend is a dog.
Well, we just had the first trans major.
Do you guys not remember this?
Yep.
Sam Britton's.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
The puppy
dog
man.
kink guy.
Yeah. The first trans major and his wife were busted sending documents to Russia, espionage. Did you guys?
They were trying to. They were trying to.
I saw I think the Babylon Bee had the funniest take on this one again. They said, what was it? Biden gives Medal of Freedom to the first trans traitor. America's first trans traitor or something like that. Yeah.
Unreal.
Oh, goodness. I was actually watching the movie.
With that story, though, I don't want to interrupt either of you or both of you, but I will, just to point out that in that particular story, the lady who was married to the trans guy, supposedly they were approached by FBI and asked, would you be able to help someone at the embassy? Someone at the Russian embassy needs help getting these documents. And they were like, well, we're not sure if we could. We're not sure if we have access. So then the FBI said, well, what kind of access do you have? Show us what kind of access you can get. So that's when they showed all this medical information. And now, boom, we gotcha. So it's a weird like entrapment sting, and this dummy fell into it, and so now it's like a ha-ha egg on your face.
Yeah,
they have to run the story even though it's their guy.
Never talk to the FBI.
So true.
Are you saying that a mentally ill person might not have understood the questions being asked of them, Tom? Because that's shocking.
Maybe it was Jeffrey Dahmer that was being asked those questions. It would have.
I'm sorry. It sounded like you said Jeffy Dahmer, and that just makes me think of.
You did. You said
okay, I did say Jeffy Dahmer.
Special Olympics.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. The Ringer. Yep. Underrated movie. So I had another talking about the whole LGBT whatever stuff and media. I saw this one, and it's just I don't want to read the article, just the headline right here. It says Emma Darcy. I really like playing women. I'm really good at it. Says female actress.
But
like the whole article it says they them like 500,000 times if you read through it. It's like they did this, them did that, this they them, and it's like this is a woman who's out there bragging about, I'm actually really good at playing women for some reason. I couldn't tell you why I actually know how to play a woman in a Game of Thrones show.
Yeah, because she identifies as a
non-binary. That's what said it in the tag.
Yeah.
That's like the second thing under the headline. It says the non-binary star finds herself being, more able to play a woman. And so they're trying to like give it credibility, the distancing of non-binary and a woman. You see a woman, we all see that it's a woman, and now that person is saying, I'm not a woman, and I find it so easy to try to be one. And we're all supposed to validate that she's not.
Now, speaking of...
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say...
Yeah. When you pull up those articles, for whatever reason, our audio is coming through when you open it up, so we're getting an echo on that.
I just won't pull them up then.
He's just like, I'm out.
I don't know.
Nobody appreciates me.
Abby, you had a banger of a tweet this week that you sent out there. That thing went viral.
Yeah, and it's not the first time. Well, it's the first time on this account, but it's not the first time I've tweeted something like this. But I learned some things from the last time and worded it a little bit better. But just drawing a comparison between drag and blackface, because both are putting on a face of something that you're not to mock and degrade that group of people. And we could either all agree that that's funny in any application, or that at least who cares, or we can all agree that it's wrong. But you can't pick and choose. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it got...
What was your tweet? Just
it was well, it was drag is to women what blackface is to black people, and then I listed some, it's degrading, it's mockery, it's dehumanization, and it got about 3 million eyeballs on it and almost 50,000 likes.
Ooh.
It didn't get ratioed, but there were a lot of people who tried. There were a lot of really, really angry people who tried. But I think most successful comment against it only got 2,000 likes.
What was their reasoning that they were disagreeing with that?
Most of it was, how dare you, you're a white woman. You can't talk
That's
about...
true.
You're not allowed to talk.
They got you there.
Oh no, I'm not allowed to talk about a cultural thing that everybody talks about because I'm white.
Doesn't that cut against your point entirely? It's like, how dare you talk about how people are disrespecting women? You're just a woman. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But there really weren't. The best arguments were quickly debunked. The best arguments are, the historical roots of drag and the historical roots of blackface are different. They're actually not. They're pretty much the same.
Almost exactly the same. So you're saying that minstrel shows became menstrual shows and everybody just was like, cool?
Some lefty tried to take me down by saying it's not the same as drag isn't the same as a menstrual show, and I'm like, the fact that you use the word menstrual tells me you know nothing about blackface or women. Such a slam dunk. I don't think I've ever had a cleaner slam dunk on Twitter.
It's probably a black woman who tweeted that tweet.
Menstrual shows. It sounds awful.
Isn't that what drag shows are, though? They're just menstrual shows.
They're just menstrual shows?
Menstrual.
The other most common comment was, well, you're ugly, so you're just not at drag queens because they're prettier than you. And I'm like,
are you stealing my comment section over there, Abby? That's what people say to me all the time.
Oh no, gay men aren't attracted to me. This is so sad.
I was thinking about wading into her comment section, but the last time I did that, I found my account being terminated, so I steered away from that comment section.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, if you go near Abby's account, it's nuclear. You'll be radiated. You'll be gone within a couple days.
Well, maybe that goes against Waffle Salter's comment here that says proof Abby's not an FBI a-hole.
No, she's a black hole, not an asshole. She's a black hole. Like, if you go near it, all of a sudden you're gone, and now forever your account's gone.
That's so sad.
Oh goodness. Well,
just like marrying a Kardashian. It's a black hole and all your stuff's gone.
Hey, Abby, I'm just going to throw this out. You had like an underhanded thing where you said, people are calling me ugly. You're going to see people in the chat now saying the opposite. Just going to throw that out there.
Oh, no.
You know,
you guys, I know what I look like. You don't have to say it.
You know, it's kind of going on the same path here as we've been going on. California, as crazy as they are, Newsom just signed a bill making California a sanctuary state for children seeking gender butchering surgery without parental consent. Now, isn't there something that can be done about something like this if they're inviting kids to come to get their body parts chopped off? Isn't there a recourse that can be used against the state legislators, or in this case, the governor of the state of California?
Normally when a person asks someone to get in their van to do crazy experimental surgery, they get raided by the FBI. So, I mean, this would be a federal crime, I would think.
They might get an escort by the FBI, though. So, I mean,
this is how the Civil War was predicted to start. We had people predicting that state lines will be crossed. One parent will take a child across state lines to another state where this is legal, and in their home state it will not be, and the home state parent will set the law enforcement to go and retake their kidnapped child. And this is how it's going to go. I mean, not with a one case, but
right,
with this kind of being the mentality that California is going to say, hey, while you cannot in Illinois entice a minor from Indiana to come and visit for the weekend because that's illegal, that's a felony, here you can entice a nationwide of minors to come to your state to cut their genitals off.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, if you're a parent, right, and you move out of state, you can't just entice your own child to come visit you out of state without parental consent from the parent they live with. Yet Newsom thinks he can do this with other people's kids. It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, and it falls all right there in Hollywood. So when these kids are broken, because that's what's going to happen to them, the Hollywood elite will scoop them up and send them off to their private houses that they have off the coast of off the country and do God knows what to them. So, yeah. It's fitting that it's in California.
Yeah, I often make the joke that Gretchen Whitmer might be the worst, governor in the United States. But I just say that because she slides under the radar with all the dirty stuff she does. But Newsom, what was it? Just a week ago, he was using Bible verses to say, "Hey, let's kill your kids." It was love your neighbor. Love your neighbor? That's the greatest commandment, or whatever.
Well, AOC just came out and said that you'd be better dead than being poor.
But that's the whole Democrat platform is they hate poor people. It's like, you be better dead. And, if you do survive, let's chop you up. And if you're Mexican, let's ship you to another place.
Well, that goes hand in hand with the other elite's plan, which is to make you dead. So if they can make you poor and then they can justify killing you, then they don't have an issue morally. So first it's if you're poor, you should die. Then we'll make you poor. Then we'll justify your death.
And somebody responded to Abby saying that it's happening in Canada where euthanasia is like the sixth most common way to die.
Yep.
That's horrendous.
And now it's not even, it's voluntary euthanasia, but some people in that system, but this is how it goes. Some people in that system are only given one outcome or one potentiality. So when they're given, hey, here are your options. There's one, euthanasia. It's voluntary, but that's the one you got. They either say you do or don't want treatment at that point. That's the only thing they can opt for. So some people say, well, I don't want to lay in anguish in the hospital with no chemo, no nothing, and just die. I guess I'll be euthanized. That's what they're doing. It's not voluntary. They're just walking people to the edge of the cliff and saying there's no going back.
Yeah, it reminds me back in 2007 when Sarah Palin was running for on the VP ticket, where she talked about the death boards that would be put in place with universal health care. And people mocked her and made fun of her and said, no, that won't happen. Here we have a prime example to the neighbors of our north that is currently happening right now. Yeah, awesome meme. Awesome meme.
Truth Cactus with another awesome meme.
She's amazing.
Also, this comment here says the end with lowering the age of other consents too. If you can consent to sex reassignment, why can't you consent to sex? That's why we call them groomers. That's what end.
That's the whole thing.
We just had the interior minister of Spain saying that kids should be able to consent to any age to having sexual intercourse with whomever they want. That was
slippery slope. Just got a bit slipperier. Yeah.
It's not the slope that got slipperier over there.
People are not honest about how much these people, it's the stories inside their minds that really get them. Like they are acting out their kinks in children. I posted about this morning. A concerned parent in the area contacted me. This is a school district in Columbus, Ohio. It's a rich school district. First week back at class, they were teaching about anal sex. Like they were teaching about like bondage and dominating and things that are gross even to me as like an adult married person. Things that like, and this was grade school. This wasn't even high school that these things were being taught. So I don't think we just think about the trans issue, because we've got all sorts of issues all over this sexual deviancy conversation with kids.
We do.
I'll bring this up now because it's, I think, worth showing. Here's the 30 seconds, and it's not actually graphic. That's the graphic warning that you're about to see and hear is part of the commercial's theatrics.
This is playing in Michigan, by the way.
Right. Listen to this attack ad on who PJ just said is the worst governor. I think it's sexist. We let her get away with stuff because it's a her. If it was a him, we'd throw him out like Cuomo. Anyways, here is the I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's two things. I think that's part of it, but I think the other thing is just we're flyover country. You know,
well,
so unfortunately.
The attack ad on Whitmer, and I think she earns everything that PJ can throw at her and more.
Yeah. Warning, the following contains graphic content from a book Gretchen Whitmer has in Michigan public schools.
I can't wait to have your in my mouth. I'm going to give you the job of your life. Then I want you inside me.
You're probably wondering why this is in a commercial. We're wondering why Gretchen Whitmer put it in our public schools.
Why, Gretchen? Why? Why would you do this to our children?
So I just want to say, I'm sure people watching are offended. That's the point. The point is, you should be offended. This is being put in front of our children. This is being put in front of, I mean, my kids don't go to the public school here because of stuff like this, but that is the kind of, like, if you're offended seeing that, that's what your kids are being shown in public schools.
And it's not just in Michigan either.
And that's why parents are mad. Parents are being labeled terrorists or worse for speaking up about that. What you just saw, what you might be mad about seeing and having your kids see, is what parents are trying to raise awareness about, and they can't.
And there's more than just that type of book. There's other books just like it, flooding not just the libraries, but the kids' classrooms as well, and being encouraged to read them by their teachers. So again, they've gone full force in this propaganda and this effort in order to confuse your children and continue to utilize them as this sick, perverse way of destroying whatever good that's left in our nation.
That book, by the way, is called This Book is Gay, and it actually has a segment in the book that encourages children to go on Grindr to experiment with their sexuality with adults. So when you talk about grooming, this is literally a groomer book. And I won't even go into the other graphic depictions. Actually, what you just saw in the commercial was far less graphic than other things in that book.
Yeah, the parents who have brought that before school boards have been shut down by the school boards by reading it, saying it's indecent to read that at the school board meetings.
In front of adults, but they're putting it in front of the kids. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's disgusting, and like I was saying with Whitmer, she's given a pass because we're flyover country. I think is part of it. You know, it's like if it's New York or California, people pay attention. You know, Cuomo can lose his job, Newsom gets all the attention. That's why I think Whitmer might be one of the worst, maybe the worst, is because she gets away with so much that no one else would get away with. It's
she
not
had
brought to the public attention.
She had just as many, if not more, seniors die in her nursing homes during the COVID madness.
More per capita. It was way worse here than it was in New York. Yeah.
That's why I said if she were a man, we'd have gotten rid of her like Cuomo.
Yeah. Well, I also think that part of that was the fact that as soon as the national attention went to her on that subject, because it did for a moment, she was going to be kidnapped.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was right around that time.
When it was exactly around that time when the FBI set up a fake kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer, which is also not making national news. You know, we'll hear about national news as Alex Jones having said a conspiracy theory on his conspiracy theory podcast. Oh my gosh, color me shocked. But not Gretchen Whitmer colluding with the FBI to stage a kidnapping of her to get her out of the national spotlight for killing grandparents.
I wonder if they tell her. Like, do you think they brief the governor? hey, we're going to have a false kidnapping plot? Or do you think that they just have her hear in the news that there was a plot that was foiled? That way her reaction's authentic.
So I tried to look into this, Tom, and the reason I think that she knew is because there's a lot of stories, old stories about Gretchen Whitmer and her relationship with the FBI that have been scrubbed from the internet. So you can still find them, and then when you click on them, they're gone. So like, I don't know. That might just be me like reading into it too much, but I think that she's got some weird connection there with the FBI that used to be acknowledged and now has been scrubbed from the internet.
Well, her family's like deep state connected 3 generations up. I went over that in a live stream as well. Her whole family's like connected to a bunch of other people that are deep, dark, dirty. So it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Also, I got another meme for you, by the way, from earlier in the show. We've got Pete Buttchug.
That's Pete Buttchug.
Pete Buttchug, yeah. So,
jeez, Abby.
Sorry.
Did that have the official Last American Pubcast on the glass?
I think so.
It should. I don't think it does.
Okay.
I don't think it does, but that would be great.
No, okay.
But it could.
I could add it later. That's so.
That's great.
You know who's had also some killer memes as well as Waffle Salter over on Gab.
Mm-hmm.
For
the
Last American
Waffle Salter's
Pubcast.
made some great ones. Do you have any of those pulled up, Frank?
I can real quick. Hold on a second.
This is a memes night.
I've got an interesting story if you want to.
While you're pulling up that interesting story and while Frank is looking for his meme on Gab, everyone go share the link to the stream. Go grab the link right now, how you're watching, doesn't matter how, and then go share it on Gab or Getter or True Social or whatever. Doesn't have to write a post. Just drop the link, hit post, right? Whatever. That helps. Goes a long way to help us grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
The perfect pubcast, Waffle Salter says.
I like it.
Dang, that catfish is doing a lot of drinking.
Speaking of catfish.
Oh.
Hello.
I thought you were going to pull off your mask and be like, I'm a dude. That's what I was waiting for.
I'm an FBI
Speaking
agent.
of catfish.
Is that Beanie the fact checker?
This is Beanie the fact checker.
Oh, pretty blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You are fake news.
So I think of Beanie.
Is he all
always
oiled
trying
up?
to fact check
is
me.
Beanie all oiled up?
Not tonight. Beanie's got the night off.
Oil time. Says Waffle Salter. Oh goodness! For a lot of you guys that might not be on the inside joke, that was from Abby's first guest appearance on the show when talking about oily cats.
Oily cats. My only cats. Still working on getting that up and running.
Bean is the real MVP of the night.
Yep. Every time. Yeah. Bean takes the show. So we've
He says not at all bitterly.
Well, it's just because Bean's always trying to fact check me, you know. Him and I only have a problem with Bean and what the BasedBot 3 or whatever it's called, BlenderBot 3. Always want to talk about cars, never want to talk about Hillary Clinton and the lizard people. Makes me very upset. So, all right. So we've talked before about the justice system being kind of lax and how there's this whole like we have sympathy for criminals. We have sympathy for the guy who's tried to stab a Bogota owner, if you want to say it the Joe Biden way.
Bodega?
But now for the guy who defended his life. Yeah, it's bodega. But oh, thank you, Like Salt. But you guys are familiar with Vice and that trash news site. I use very loosely site. Well, they've been trying to make a sympathetic piece about sex offenders. It kind of blew up in their face. So I wanted to share this with you guys really. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to. You know what? I can't do this though because my audio keeps screwing up.
Well, you can share the audio and then we'll just have to pull the page back down while we all talk about it because there's an echo. It's like it's playing your entire audio again.
Yeah, you can
hear
share
your board twice.
Talk.
Do you want me to just share this for one of you guys to open up?
No, just open it.
Just open it. We won't talk.
Yeah, we're doing this live. Bill O'Reilly.
No spin zone.
All right. Yeah, let me try this again. Got to share the screen again because I turned the audio off because earlier.
I believe in you. You can do it.
Yep, I know. All right. So anyway, this is the one. Vice tried to make a sympathetic piece about how sex offenders can be trusted to live in society And so here's the first one. Here's them trying to spin the thing, right?
If you are dubbed a sex offender, someone who's committed a sex offense, you are...
Is it that bad?
All types of punishments that nobody else, including murderers, are subject to.
Somebody who was sentenced to serve 1 or 2 years in prison could end up getting stuck there for the rest of their life.
All right, so they make this piece. They're trying to put this whole thing there, and they interview this one guy. Let's play this clip.
We all out here in this world, and we all got to make it happen, and ain't nothing stopping me. So, like, I'm very hopeful and confident.
After this interview, Ashif sent a picture of his penis to our producer.
So this is the guy they're trying to like garner sympathy for. I'm just trying to live my life. After this interview, he sent a picture of his penis to our producer.
They did ask him though, like, what's your pickup line? Like, what do you do to get people? And he's like, well, what I do is, and then, you know.
Yeah, it gets even worse. They actually tried to defend it. Like the producer of, check this out. They actually tried to.
Thanks, Alice, and to your whole team for this report. I think it raises a lot of questions, clearly spotlights an injustice. But I wanted to ask you about what it was like to find out that Ashif had sent that picture to one of your producers.
I mean, I was shocked. I was angry. If this was something that happened from a stranger, you would just block the person and never talk to them again. But we're journalists and we were working with Ashif on this. So we reached out to him, we got comment. We reached out to his lawyers. He says he sent it by mistake, which I think it's up to the viewers to decide whether they believe that or not.
Was it hard to decide whether to use that?
Was it hard? Come on.
Yeah,
use a different phrase.
A lot about it because on the one hand, you could argue that it's not relevant to the story of the injustice that Ashif faced at the hands of the state.
Ow.
Years of dead time that he served. That's really what our story was about. And his lawyers would argue that, the fact of the dick pic isn't relevant. But we wanted to basically give the full story to our viewers in a piece that's also about what it means to reintegrate successfully and unsuccessfully as someone who's on the sex offense registry. This
girl keeps looking away when she's talking. Does anyone notice that?
Who is a complex person. And
he's a complex person, she says. It's okay because he's a complex person. Yeah, she does keep looking away. She's like
right there, she was looking in his eyes, but she keeps looking away, and I get the sense that like she already doesn't believe what she's saying. She's trying to look for ways to sell that line because she doesn't believe it, but she wants him to buy it.
Yeah.
Is it that, or did she sleep with him?
Well, that's the other thing. She seems like someone who would be the one who's like, I can fix him. But it's every guy. It's every guy she's ever been with, and it's always the same dude. It's a black sex offender.
He's a complex person.
Yeah, he's very complex.
He's a complex person.
He's brooding. No, he's planning. He's planning your murder. You should run.
Speaking of black people, the first black
Jesus, Frank.
Your transitions, Frank. Are He's like, well, that's uncomfortable. Let's make it more uncomfortable. Speaking of black people,
the first black host of the Daily Show, Trevor Noah, is ending his run as
he's not
the
really
host
black,
of the show.
Is he?
Oh, he's South African, so can't get any more black than that.
Did he send his penis to a producer too?
I don't know. I hope not.
Speaking of black people, Big Mike.
Speaking of black next week we have to have the title of the stream be "Speaking of Black People." ...
So totally not so totally black person Trevor Noah that was working. What was the story with him?
He retired.
Totally not a sex offender, Trevor Noah.
Oh my gosh.
He's leaving the Daily Show. He's headed on out to greener pastures, I'm sure. What's your guys' thoughts?
Oh no. Anyway.
Well, you said greener pastures. I feel like that was a little tongue in cheek there. I don't know. I mean,
I have no idea what.
Here's what's funny about Trevor Noah to me is I first found Trevor Noah when I was in Africa, and I saw a local African. What? What are you guys laughing about?
It's true. He's from Africa.
He is from Africa. That's a fact.
Okay. This is the point I was going to make. I was in Africa and I was watching one of the 3 channels in Liberia, and one of them had a comedy special of a South African comedian, Trevor Noah. And I watched it and I was like, this isn't funny, but I'm from America, so I don't get it. And I just was like, okay, well, that's fine. It's like, this is African humor. I must just not get it. And then I went home, and 6 months later, he was on TV in America. And I was like, oh, maybe he will be funny, if he's doing American comedy. No, he wasn't. He was no better. So I was wrong to give him the pass when I was in Africa, thinking, oh, it's just because I'm not from here. No, he's just not a funny person.
It's just because you're not African, PJ. You didn't understand him.
That's what
Trevor Noah goes after Clapter. He wants to say things that you'll agree with in a funny-ish way so that you think it's a joke. Like he wants the Clapter. He wants you to agree with what he's saying, and then that's how you'll support him. Not by actually thinking he's funny. Like The Daily Show, he was making political arguments instead of making political jokes.
Yeah, it's the only time he was ever funny was that. You guys remember the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say he was like absolutely hilarious. It's just like you have a low bar set for Trevor Noah, and then he actually makes a real joke one time, and everybody like applauded him for it. And it's like, well, it's kind of a low bar.
See, that was the point, though. He was making good political jokes. They were actually funny, and they were relevant. They were topical. People thought, hey, that's actually a bit of truth in that one. That's funny.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is a little sleepy. That's funny. He was actually taking pot shots at Joe Biden instead of just being like, oh, Your Majesty.
Comedy has to have a bit of truth in it, though, and that's why he's not fun. That's why nobody on the left is funny. That's why SNL is unwatchable.
I can't remember the last. Well, actually, I do remember the last time I watched SNL. It was for Elon Musk's appearance on SNL. So
Same. That's the last time.
Yeah.
Kimmel's next. I hope so. Ripcord.
Well, speaking of black people, Jimmy
that's actually a good transition. That was good.
Who is notorious for wearing blackface.
Speaking of black people, Jimmy Kimmel. Oh man, at least he would have been safer to do menstrual face than minstrel face, but he still got away with it. So
no, that was Sarah Silverman.
They were dating at the time. Sarah Silverman and
I know.
They're like, hey, it'd be funny. What if we both did blackface together?
See,
that's
you
probably
can.
What they did.
You can
like
be
one
funny.
of us can't get away with it, but both of us can.
I'll be Carl Malone.
You can be funny and make political points at the same time. They just have to be true.
Well, that's the thing. Like SNL used to be they used to have like a really good George Bush impression, like George Sr. Was Dana Carvey did a really good one.
Yep.
And then I can't remember his name, but the Bill Clinton stuff in the 90s was absolutely hilarious.
Wasn't that Bill Hartman that did Bill Clinton?
There was two. Phil Hartman did it, and he was kind of funny, but the other guy, I can't think of his name. He was even better.
The guy who also did Trump recently until Alec Baldwin took over.
Yes, that guy. He was really, really funny.
Member.
He was really funny as Bill Clinton in the 90s. I can never remember his name.
There's a lady's name. I can't think of his name.
He's one of those cast members that nobody knows outside
Daryl
Hannah?
Hammond.
Daryl Hammond, yes.
Yeah. Daryl Hannah is a different lady.
Yeah, no, I know. Kill Bill and stuff like that. No, Daryl Hammond did a really good one.
Yeah,
and
she was
then
the eye patch lady.
And then Dana Carvey again with George W. Bush. But even why can't I think of his name? Will Ferrell. Like, even though he didn't do like a greatest Bush impression, the jokes were actually honest and kind of funny. And then as soon as Obama got in office, like innately hilarious person, they couldn't make fun of him. They had to find a way to worship him with every joke. Then Trump gets in and they're like, how can you not this is what I don't get. How can you make Trump unfunny? Trump by himself is a stand-up comedian. Trump is like the funniest president ever. And they found a way to make him not funny. And then Joe Biden's literally a corpse, like Weekend at Bernie's corpse, who craps himself in front of the Pope. And they can't make him funny either. It's like you just have to have the tiniest bit of truth in your jokes. And SNL would be absolutely hilarious. And they just won't do it.
I was watching Weekend at Bernie's before I came back to do the show tonight. That was actually pretty funny.
With Halloween coming up, I feel like they just need to put a skeleton in a computer chair and then have a sketch of SNL where they just walk in and begin to talk to the president in the Oval Office, and they just cut to, and it's just a skeleton in a chair. And they'll just pretend that that's a real person.
In the chairs.
And they just don't break, and they continue to have a conversation with it, and then they leave. and then they tell you that what Joe Biden was thinking. And I think that would be the best cold open that you could see because it's most honest.
I'll write an SNL skit right off the top of my head right now that'd be funnier than anything they've ever done. You've got Obama in his office, like in his basement, and he's got his Bluetooth in, but his Bluetooth is like he dropped it in his glass of water right before, and he picks up. He's like, "Oh shoot, I hope this thing still works." And he puts it back in his ear, and he's trying to tell Joe Biden what to say, and it keeps cutting down on Joe Biden saying like, "True international pressure." Like, I just came up with this off the top of my head. Funnier than anything SNL's done in a decade.
Top tier.
You know, top tier, we do have Halloween weekend here on the show at the end of the month, so maybe we could do something fun as well.
Should we dress up for Halloween for the Last American Pubcast?
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should.
I almost want to tell you what I'm thinking about, but I'm
going to get my blackface on.
PJ, what are you going to do?
People are mad. You're just like, it's just Jimmy Kimmel. I'm just doing Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel in blackface.
I actually have the perfect politically charged Halloween costume, but I'm going to save it. I'm not going to tell you what it was because I actually wore it one time. Everybody in the neighborhood hated me, but it was so funny.
So that's something we would like to do. I think it'd be fun. I think the audience would like to be part of it. They send us pictures of them watching the stream at home in their costume on Twitter.
Abby in blackface, I'm in drag.
Oh no.
One of the first comments we got tonight was Tom is one of the prettiest women on this show. So I think that works.
Thank you. I'll take it.
So you were saying something earlier, Tom. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't think I was.
Yeah, follow us over on Twitter, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, last_USA Pubcast on Twitter. Reach out to the base producer. Nailed it again. Tom dresses as Big Mike. I like this one. Yeah.
Or I could go as Trudeau. I mean, there's plenty of outfits I could choose from that.
You could literally just dress up as Castro.
Last year I was that dude that lost his bicep. That's fun.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the one guy.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah. I can't.
Gage Kreutz, something like that. Gross Kurtz. I can never remember. Yeah, it's something like that. Gage, gross, something.
Gage, gross bicep.
Gay, gone bicep.
You could go as Fetterman's growth twin.
Yeah, like Michael Scott did. He had the second head. You can just put a little.
What you should do is put like a mannequin head of him, and then like cut a neck hole out and just have your head sticking out of the side.
I'm gonna need some costume ideas that don't involve blackface because I don't think I can.
You can go as Rachel Dolezal.
You know she got an OnlyFans, by the way.
I saw that story this week. Rachel Dolezal has an OnlyFans.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I just want to know, does she do the full body paint? Or does she just keep it up here?
Yeah, what are the tan lines? Where are they?
No.
Please, nobody tell me if you know. I don't want to know.
She looks like a Neapolitan ice cream because it's like...
She's got the redneck farmer's tan and then the white body and the black face. Neapolitan ice cream. I like it.
Oh, I could dress up as an FBI agent.
Abby Fetterman.
No, you're not wearing your work clothes, Abby. You gotta
seriously
dress up.
You're supposed to be, having fun.
Real Truth Cactus says Abby is AOC.
Oh.
Yeah. I can see it, actually.
That's the problem. I do have like the AOC teeth. All I'd have to do is.
So, are we going to do political people we're going to dress up as then?
I am personally. I've got the costume already.
Give this 30 days of thought.
Okay. Done. Done, Cactus.
Bag.
AOC wearing the Chick-fil-A bag. Oh, that was a great costume. I feel like your costume's been decided for you.
Yeah,
I feel like it has.
Someone's got to go with Ray Epps.
Frank, if anybody's doing blackface, it's you. Oh, wait, you said Ray Epps. I'm sorry. You're thinking Omar Epps for some reason, like an idiot. Oh wow.
He's like
I had a
Mike
Joe
Epps.
Biden
I can't
moment
be
there.
Mike Epps.
I'll get the abs.
Speaking of black people,
Yeah, they're not all the same, PJ.
Yeah, PJ. They're not all from Africa either, PJ.
Hey, I don't think that all black people look alike. I think all Asians look alike. Get it right, guys. Come on. It's not fair of you to characterize me that way. So I feel like I should bring up another story.
no, you guys have to go as the Men in Blackface.
Men in blackface. That'd be
Tom.
funny. We all dress in suits, but then also just wear blackface. And then when people get mad, we just have it. We have to, bloop.
Yeah, the
Forget
I can
that.
go
flashy
with Will
thingy.
Smith.
Yeah,
You
right.
can go as Chris Rock, Tom.
I'm glad that you got what that was. What? Chris Rock wasn't in that movie?
I know.
Yet they're probably making a fifth one. They'll have Chris Rock. They had Chris Hemsworth in the last one.
No, yeah, that was the stupid one. No, it was Tommy Lee Jones. You could be Tommy Lee Jones.
I am a Tommy. That would work.
Like Saul, thank you for the super chat.
As if we're not all drunk enough.
I'm not drinking.
You got your Red Bull.
I never want to see Tom.
You don't have
drunk.
your Red Bull tonight?
He's already so
anymore.
crazy.
No,
Tom went off brand with water.
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 Sucks. It really, really sucks.
sucks.
Gatorade. All right. Anyway,
Wow,
before
we
this
really got off
derails,
the rails.
before this derails any further, did you guys see this one? There's an environmental activist who was freed from charges due to climate change trauma.
No.
Yes. They were traumatized by wind or sun.
Yeah.
Or fire.
Let them out of prison. Doesn't matter who they raped.
Yeah. So
Was
it's
it
a legitimate reason to not get arrested now is to say that you had trauma from climate change. That 1 extra degree hotter that England was this year, or whatever they're claiming.
Yeah, it was like 86 degrees. They were like, I'm melting.
That's my
Speaking of-
favorite yearly
Go ahead.
story is summer is hot. As like it's a breaking headline now every year. Winter is cold and summer is hot. I don't know if you guys are shocked by this as I am, but I could see the trauma.
Speaking of black, no, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of black people.
Says that tends to be my line for tonight here. Did you guys see this story coming to us from?
I hope it's
better have a
actually
black
about
person in it.
No, The View brought in this.
He's saying, speaking of black people, whoopee.
You just barely skirted by on that one. She's only just barely black.
Speaking of black people with a Jewish fake
Didn't
last
her
name,
boyfriend go as blackface? Ted Danza?
I don't know, maybe.
Ted
Yes.
Danson. Yeah,
Yes.
you know what? He did.
You did.
Because this lady, this Fox affiliate was like, Abby, show me the people who enjoyed blackface. Show me the black people who enjoy blackface the way women enjoy drag. So I posted a
Also,
picture of
Joy
Whoopi
Behar.
smiling at blackface.
Joy Behar did blackface.
Yep.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, with your story, Frank.
Anyway,
have you guys seen this giant puppet? I'm not talking about Joe Biden, but
yeah,
this
it's the
actual
star of Team America World Police 2.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It's called Little Emil. Little Emil. So
Emil.
here, let me go ahead and pull this up. This was from The View.
Please welcome a powerful symbol of human rights. Her name is Little Amal.
Wow, that's not creepy at all.
Okay, she's not little. Couldn't they have called her Big Amal?
I would like to just point out, she said the champion for human rights. We have an entire section.
They're all scared as shit.
All masked up, but we're going to talk about human rights.
Look at their body language. They're all leaning away, not to look at it, but because they're like, what in the hell?
You guys ever see the movie Wicker Man? That's all this is reminding me of.
Not the bees, not the bees, not the bees, not the bees.
Is that the one where he's buried in the ground and they have his head only exposed and you know that
They
meme? I'm
kill him
talking
with the
about?
bees.
Is it? Is that?
I think so.
That's why I was just yelling the bees.
Oh.
He can't see without his glasses. Wrong movie. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the little puppets from the Von Trapp in the Sound of Music. Remember that when they put on the little puppet show? Anyone know? In the
It's
Sound of
been a
Music
minute
movie?
since I've seen that.
All right.
Look at Joy's expression.
She's like, the acid is really hitting today. There's a man in there. Look, there's a man in the wicker.
He's trapped in a child's body.
Look at that. There's a guy in there.
Is that the symbolism? A man trapped in a child's body is a transgender thing?
Please.
Look at that hand.
You want to see the hand again?
Yeah, just like go to the very, very end. Last frame. Look at that. How weird. Look at she's being petted by it.
Oh,
My
goodness.
God.
Yeah.
Like, isn't art a window into the soul? And that thing is creepy and demonic as hell. Like, that's what it looks like.
Yep.
I
You
don't
know, I
know.
was reading a story just recently about Barbara Walters actually being trapped in her New York City apartment because she is actually has onsets of dementia, and they're not letting her leave at all.
It's probably good.
Yeah.
For the best.
Maybe that's what they should do with
I
Joe.
was gonna
Yeah, because the things,
familiar
the things that she
story.
knows, you know, the dirt that she has on
Oh, for
celebrities,
real.
she would be out there just telling people at the subway, you know,
Dude,
sandwich line, like, I can tell you things about who, you know, just start listing bad things. They don't want her out there.
They would get rid of her like they did Joan River.
Yeah, the only
I
thing
was
is,
gonna
though, she
say-
probably knows things about, like, Dean Martin and, you know, Frank Sinatra. She knows, like, the dirt on people who are dead.
Yeah.
So it really wouldn't matter.
Well,
One of Joan
tried to warn
Rivers.
everybody about the first lady in the White House.
I was gonna say one of the last things Joan Rivers said was the whole Big Mike thing.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, she was done. Are you guys going to cover that over a conspiracy pilled eventually?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, for sure. You know, this reminds me. I'm sorry, I just pulled up this story last minute because this reminded me
Is
of
that a black person?
Speaking of black people, speaking of Hispanic people, no, like this whole like weird art thing with the left. I feel like I said, I feel like art is a window into the soul, and this is like creepy, demonic looking stuff. And I saw something that's just like the soul of America right now with how we're treating art. And I'm not a fan of like Frida Kahlo. I think she was just a communist weirdo. But did you see that now they actually burnt her art to make an NFT out of it? And if that doesn't say something about our society, that we're going to take actual physical objects and burn them to make digital objects that anyone can own, but people pretend that it's valuable because they own it like on paper somehow, but it's just a picture. Like I literally have the NFT right here on my screen. I own it just as much as the guy who paid $500,000 for this $10 million painting being burnt.
I have no idea how NFTs work.
An NFT is a JPEG. It's a picture, but you own it. That's it.
That's
But also, I own it if I have it. And also, the internet owns it if they have it.
I can download this picture on my computer and own it just as much as the person who paid whatever they paid for the NFT, but they own it technically. So like literally now we're taking art. This is, I think, a $10 million piece, buying art, setting it on fire, taking a picture of the art on fire and putting it into the metaverse, into this digital universe. And that is, if that's not like a symbol of where our culture is going, I don't know what is.
I want I wanted Jimmy Kimmel a blackface NFT.
Wouldn't it be easier
You
for
just
this
want to
guy
own someone in blackface
to just like take his cash and burn it directly instead of buying the art and then burning the art for the NFT to then sell the NFT?
It would have been
He's trying to
cheaper,
make a
probably.
profit here. Couldn't he just burn some money and take a picture of that?
That would have probably would have been more profitable than taking a picture of a $10 million pay. I can't imagine someone's paying $10 million for an NFT.
Yeah,
for a JPEG.
I wonder if I could make money off the blackface Jimmy Kimmel.
Maybe we should take Polaroids of ourselves in blackface and then burn them as NFTs.
So are you saying that Last American Pubcast is going to launch an NFT line? and
Last
we get to see
American
Abby?
Blackface cast. That's what I'm saying.
And we see Abby in blackface to do it?
No, Abby will have to go and drag.
With her FBI hat.
She has to wear woman face.
But seriously, you guys, you got to hear me out. This is the solution to racial tension. Every black person gets given an NFT of a white person in blackface. They own the white.
You don't like literally own them, but
they own them
on paper.
They own that picture of them.
Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and cancel myself. I'm canceled.
good.
Well, we've reached the 10-minute mark, which you guys know what that means. We are at closing time. We are at last call.
Last call.
So let's go ahead and go through some of these things we have started here for today. First one here was from Real Truth Cactus, who said, "Happy payday. Oh, what a joy it is to give all my hard-earned money to the Fed. At least I could buy y'all a round. Cheers." So thank you so much,
Thank you, Cactus.
Cactus. This one was from Rip Corey. He says, "I think we all need a drink right about now." That was earlier here.
Yep,
Thank you, Rip
especially
Corey.
after Abby's overt racism.
Waffle Salter came in and says it was Frank with the FJB flag in the hurricane. Certainly, it may have been. Waffle Salter also said, "In that case, the Lego space shuttle behind you, Tom. Dang. Anyway, drinks."
Yes, in that case, that is the Lego space shuttle behind me. Yes.
Are you planning a raid on NASA?
Yes.
Obviously.
Obviously.
I have one of the space station, not to alarm anyone.
That's why Abby's here.
That's
to
the one
keep
right
tabs on
under
Tom.
it. That's the space station right there.
Nice.
Keeping tabs on Tom. You know, Michigan's known for their
Domestic
terrorists. Yeah.
Militias that try to kidnap people.
I Like Salt came in with $10 for time to take a drink.
Thank you,
so
Like
much.
Salt.
I Like Salt. This one that came in from Waffle Salter again says, "Proof. Abby is not an FBI asshole."
Abby is a-hole.
The Ugly Jew came in, says, somebody highlighted this one, says, "This will end with the lowering of the age of other consents too. If you can consent to sex, reassignment, why can't you consent to sex?" That was talking about what we had up with the gender affirming surgeries that they were pushing on people, on kids. I Like Salt came in and says, "You all took a drink before I did, and another drink, folks." He came in again, or she came in with another one here. Thank you so much. Ocean Breeze Salties came in. LOL, cheers. Thank you so much, Ocean Breeze Salty.
Thank you, Ocean Breeze Salty.
Over on the Odyssey stream that we have up, there was a $5 super chat from Matt7. No comment, but just a $5 super chat there. So toast to that. Mr. Matt, thank you.
You're the best of all of the Matts.
That is
Even
your
if you're
time
number
to
7,
shine.
you're number 1 to us.
That is your time to shine, Matt, with those super chats. Put something in there for us to respond to.
As well as Trumpet. So it's Trumpet on Rumble.
Ooh.
Trumpet. Thank you for the $17 super chat. She says, Trump is right. Tom is right. Excuse me. There's a little slip there. Tom is right. And I'm sure that she was referring to the moment where you were agreeing, Abby.
Yeah, probably.
So I think Tom made up that comment.
I could show. Here, hang on. How do I show you this?
$17 super chat seems suspicious.
And the Ugly Jew came in.
There we go.
It's real?
Tom is right. Trumpet is Tom's alt account. Don't fall for it.
Yeah, right.
The Ugly Jew came in and says, "I guess I'm on the hook to donate now."
Oh, thank you.
You just became less ugly.
A little less ugly.
Yeah.
That's how all the
from
Jews do
a
it.
2 to a 4.
That's what all alcohol apparently does, right? It makes you a little less ugly. It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where they go to the Duffland and Bart puts on the beer goggles. He looks at his aunt and she's like really high. He takes it off. She's like, "Ah."
Oh man, I miss The Simpsons. They used to be funny.
I only remember that because I went to Universal last weekend where I was at when I wasn't here. I was not cross-dressing as Frankie, who was filling in me last week.
Yeah, we couldn't tell that wasn't you.
This isn't the detransition story, Frank?
No.
How was Universal, by the way?
It was excellent. Thank you for asking. We had a lot of fun. We got a chance to ride the new roller coaster there, Velocitor ride, and that thing was intense. That was reminded me why I don't do roller coasters anymore. But I had to act all cool. I knew my son was going to like the roller coaster, and so he was kind of like little on edge about it. I said, "Man," I said, "that ain't nothing. Don't worry about it." In my head, I was like, "What the heck are we doing in line for this roller coaster?" But I put it on that brave face as dads normally do and got into there, and we took off. And I was like regretting the next 2 minutes of my life.
Nice.
But yeah, it was good. It was good. We had a blast time. Universal, it's always one of those fun places for us to go as a family. So better than Groomerland down the road.
Groomerland, aka Disney.
Yeah, I don't need no Disney princesses coming up and asking my kids if they're a boy or girl today.
Do all the Disney princesses have beards now?
I don't know. I haven't been there in about a year, but I would not doubt it.
Yeah, probably. It's coming.
The new Hocus Pocus, a movie that just came out on Disney Plus. They have a trans people in it. They got gay couples.
Trans people?
Well, if they're they, them, I don't know how you... trans... Yeah.
No black people. No, I don't know.
So can I admit something that gets people mad at me every time and I don't understand why? I've never seen Hocus Pocus. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, you've never seen Hocus Pocus? And I don't understand what Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker in a children's movie, like why this is I'm supposed to be the target audience for this. Can someone explain to me why? Like nobody's ever explained to me why I should watch it. Everybody just gets mad that I haven't.
I watched it when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was like a Disney movie they always had on. So if it was Halloween and it was Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever it was, ABC Family would sometimes run it. It was like a kiddie Disney Hollywoody kind of movie.
Which is fine. I'm not dissing the movie. I'm saying why are people like adults now being like, why have you never seen this?
Well, it's the same reason, PJ, that McDonald's is now offering Happy Meals for adults. Have you seen that?
I was about to pull that up, Frank. Same minds. I was gonna say it's the same exact thing as because childhood has to be longed forever. So now McDonald's has Happy Meals for adults.
No, they have Happy Meals for kids that I still order. That's the way I like it. I don't want them to make it for an adult.
Yeah, and they're putting old toys from like back, I guess, when we would be kids.
Oh, well, that's cool then. Well, then I'm going to get that.
I would get it just to see this gang come back.
Aww.
There's nothing I hate more than the whole McCafe thing. Like as soon as McDonald's decided it was going to be Starbucks 2.0, I'm like, no, you're not. Your coffee's terrible. Your food is subpar. Like at least let us have the clown and some stupid toys.
The clown. His name is Ronald.
Yeah, get it right. Tom, if you do go get a Happy Meal, the new Happy Meal, you got to put the toys behind the space shuttle there.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll do a whole, unboxing like that guy that wears the tie and does his review.
You said the clown is Ronald, but in 2022, I think if McDonald's had a clown again, it'd be Gacy.
Gacy.
We're coming full circle.
We don't know what
there we are. Nice callback.
But it probably involves trans and kids, so.
And crawl spaces.
The fake
that kind of it was related to McDonald's because wasn't that the rumor that we're eating people? McDonald's is people?
What? No, I've never heard that.
McDonald's is
I have not. I've never
heard that. McDonald's is people?
No.
Well, I know
haven't you heard that?
Yeah, I have.
Of course, conspiracy people heard about it.
I was gonna say if you're talking about like Heck 93 cells where they use aborted fetal cells to flavor food, that's actually a real thing.
Oh goodness. The old apple pies were fire though.
Look at that. We're starting to lose people.
Oh goodness. Well, we're about that time anyhow. We're coming in at the closing part. Next week we do have the real libertarian guy, right?
Do we have Cajun Libertarian next week?
Cajun Libertarian?
Yep.
Stephen Ignoramus as well.
And what everyone needs to do right now before anything else is grab a link in the description of the video that you're watching below and go share it or just follow it out to wherever it takes you and go support the channel that you're watching on. That would help a lot.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the Last American Pubcast channel over on YouTube. We have recently just got over 1,700 subscribers.
Woo.
Oh, wow.
Taters and eggs.
Wow. Thank you, Taters and eggs. This should cover it. Thank you, Frank, Abby, Tom, and PJ. God bless you guys. Special shout out to Waffle Salter. Hey,
Amen.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Taters and eggs.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you so much. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. What a great way to end the show tonight. You guys are amazing. The other channel continues to grow on the YouTube channel, which is great. We're halfway to monetization over there. We're about 2,000 hours shy, so we're getting there. Thank you for watching the segments from these shows that we put out there. And thank you for all the ones who have watched or listened to it on the podcast that PJ puts up. That has been fantastic, going really well today.
Oh, another one.
Now it covers it, taters.
Oh, thank you, Waffle
Thank
Salter.
you. You guys are great. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's made this show a success. Today, this is what, number 13?
Yeah.
Number 13.
Lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. So we have long plans for this show to continue on, and we just appreciate all of you guys' support. Check us out over on the official Twitter account for the show, and maybe you'll get to speak to Mr. Producer, bass producer himself over there. And he's been pretty quiet lately. He hasn't done much tweeting. So anyhow,
You should talk to him, Frank. Tell him to get on that.
Maybe we'll get on him. So anyway, for Tom, Abby, and PJ, I'm Frank. You guys have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with us here at the pub. It's time to close it down. I hope you guys all drive safely, tip your waitress, and we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hope to see you then. Bye, everyone.